As 10-year-old boys Bob Hunter and Neil Mednick used to hop the fence at the old Winfields farm near York Mills Road and Bayview Avenue in North York just to get a look at the blue-blooded thoroughbreds owned by E.P. Taylor. It was around that time Taylor's Great Canadian Colt Northern Dancer won the 1964 Kentucky Derby and then returned to Canada to win the Queen's Plate. From right, Jim Aston, Neil Mednick and Bob Hunter are the owners behind Jack of Hearts Racing and have decent shot at winning Saturday's Queen's Plate with ahead be a century. Renee Johnston, Toronto Star. More than 50 years later, Hunter, Mednick and longtime friend Jim Aston are living the ultimate dream in Canadian racing as their colt ahead be a century will start in Saturday's $1 million plate at Woodbine. "This is my first ever horse," said Hunter, who attended races as a kid with Mednick and their fathers. "It's a thrill of a lifetime. Ahead be a century, named for a song written by the late Gord Downie of the Tragically Hip, is no. 15 at early odds of 15 to 1, in a bulky field of 16 for the 159th plate, a 1¼ mile test for Canadian-bred 3-year-olds and the first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown." Article continued below. Hunter, Mednick and Aston, who are three sports-loving, regular Toronto guys, will celebrate their first plate start early. About 150 people will cram Ashton's backyard on Friday night for a pre-plate party catered by Rodney's Oyster Bar. "We're so happy we can share this with all our friends and family, and I think they are happy that we are sharing it with them," said Aston. "Even our friends who don't know much about racing, well, they know about the Queen's Plate." It was Aston that got the ball rolling in horse racing ownership about 13 years ago when he dabbled on his own for a couple of years. He was away from the sport for about 8 years before Mednick suggested they get a horse together. They hired top trainer John Ross to buy a few yearlings at the Woodbine sale for them and immediately had remarkable success. Racing as Jack of Hearts stable, named for their late friend Jack Harrington, the first Aston and Mednick runner, Raglan Road, won over $150,000 in 2016. Their third horse, Coolcatomine, scored an upset win in the Prince of Wales Stakes last year at Fort Erie. Hunter, who was living the horse racing dream vicariously through his buddies, decided he wanted in and had purchased a share in Ahead Be a Century, a son of American sire Midnight Lute, whose son Midnight Aria won the 2013 plate. Last fall in his first season of racing, Ahead Be a Century won the $250,000 Coronation Futurity, the biggest race for Canadian 2-year-olds. Article continued below with a third-place finish in the Plate Trial Stakes on June 9. Ahead Be a Century, who will be ridden by Luis Contreras, punched his ticket to the plate. There will be some 50 members of the Jack of Hearts cheering section in attendance on Plate Day. "The Las Vegas Knights made the Stanley Cup Finals in their first year, but we had to wait a whole 3 years to get our first plate starter," said Mednick, tongue firmly in cheek. The longtime friends often visit their colt on the Woodbine backstretch and are confident their colt has a chance to take home the $600,000 winner's share. Ahead Be a Century, a confirmed stretch runner, was feeling his oats this week too. "He likes to bite, Neil," said Aston. "Apparently Neil is quite tasty. I am still a little unsure around these big, beautiful horses, so I give a little pat from afar." Ahead Be a Century's main competition will come from a trio of starters trained by Mark Cass, including plate trial winner Telekinesis, the 5-2 favorite, and Wonder Godot, a top filly who is second in the Woodbine Oaks. Dixie Moon, the Oaks winner, is also a major contender and fillies have won the plate 36 times. No matter what happens on Saturday, the Don Mills boys will have made the most out of their first plate experience. "It has been a lot more fun owning horses with friends rather than being on my own," said Aston. "We hope to win, but just to be here is amazing.